Donald Trump is one of the most criticized individuals in modern society. Every move he makes, every word he says, every project he attempts instantly becomes the target of intense judgment. For most people, this level of criticism would be overwhelming, discouraging, and emotionally exhausting. But for Trump, something entirely different happens. He doesn't break under pressure, he expands. He doesn't collapse under judgment, he transforms it into fuel. Whether you admire him or disagree with him, the psychological power behind the way he handles. Criticism is impossible to ignore, and before we go any deeper, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt paralyzed by criticism? If yes, pay close attention, because this video might completely change your perspective. Trump's entire philosophy toward criticism begins with one simple idea. Criticism is not a sign of failure, but a sign of impact. Most people interpret criticism as proof. They are doing something wrong. They shrink, apologize, and abandon their direction. Trump interprets criticism as proof that he is doing something that matters, something disruptive enough to make people react. And if something has enough influence to create a reaction, then it's worth pursuing. If you're watching this right now, I want to hear from you. In the comments, do you tend to take criticism personally, or do you see it as feedback? Share your experience. Your story might help someone else watching. Everything about Trump's resilience is built on reframing, instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, he sees them as opportunities. Instead of seeing resistance as danger, he sees it as confirmation that he is pushing in the right direction. It's the same principle athletes use in training. A weightlifter never complains about heavy weight. The heaviness is exactly what develops strength. Without resistance, the muscle cannot grow. Trump applies this principle mentally, emotionally, and strategically. When criticism intensifies, he becomes more focused, not less. When opposition grows, he becomes louder, not quieter. When people doubt him, he doubles down. If this resonates with you so far, don't forget to give this video a like, because it helps this message reach more people who might need it. Another powerful part of Trump's mindset is emotional detachment. Most people feel personally attacked when they are criticized. They believe the criticism defines them. Trump separates the message from the meaning. He sees criticism as information, not as injury. Humans often project their fear, jealousy, or insecurity onto others, and Trump understands this deeply. That's why he doesn't personalize negativity. He studies it. He observes patterns in people's behavior, and he uses criticism to gain insight into what his opponents fear most. And this raises an important lesson for anyone listening. If you detach emotionally from criticism, you reclaim your power. Let me know in the comments if emotional detachment is something you struggle with. I'd love to know. One of Trump's strongest strategies is his willingness to confront criticism directly. Most people avoid conflict because they fear tension. They want peace, harmony, and approval. Trump, on the other hand, sees confrontation as clarity. When you avoid criticism, you allow others to control the narrative. When you face it directly, you take control back. Trump speaks loudly because he understands a universal truth. The person who communicates last often sets the final meaning by confronting criticism. Hidden, he prevents others from defining him. This is something anyone can practice, especially if you've ever had your reputation shaped by other people's assumptions. And if you've ever had to defend your name or your ideas, type "Y won't stay silent" in the comments. Your voice matters here. Another intelligent psychological move Trump uses is reframing negativity into strength. When people criticize him for being bold, he reframes it as being decisive. When they criticize him for taking risks, he reframes it as courage. When they call him stubborn, he reframes it as persistence. This technique completely changes the emotional outcome of criticism. It transforms attacks into fuel. You can use this too. If someone calls you unrealistic, maybe it means you are visionary. If they call you too ambitious, maybe it means you think bigger than they do. If they say you're too intense, maybe it means you're passionate. Reframing allows you to turn negativity into growth. If you've ever used reframing in your life, let me know in the comments. Your example might inspire someone else. Trump also uses momentum as a psychological shield. Critics expect you to freeze under pressure. They expect you to slow down. They expect doubt to weaken your actions. Trump does the opposite. He accelerates. Motion is his weapon against negativity. When criticized, he doesn't retreat or hide, he takes more action. This surprises opponents and builds psychological dominance.